Hello, and welcome to Using the Passive Voice in Academic Writing. The active voice is preferred for most writing because the active voice is strong. It is clear. It can express a lot of ideas. But there are times when the passive voice may be better, like when the objects are the main ideas. You remember how to use the passive voice, right? Let's take me, for example. I could talk about what a great chef I am, but I want to talk about my food instead. My food is the focus. The passive is used when we want to talk about the objects. The objects are the focus. Let's look at some examples. Example number 1. If your object is the study, then it should be the focus. I don't want to talk about this guy. Who is he? What he invented was genetically modified rice. That's what I want to talk about. Genetically modified rice is going to be introduced next year. What about business reports? First, reports are written by each department. Then, the reports are reviewed by the supervisor. Finally, the reports are approved by the manager. What about sound? Being polite. Hey, that looks pretty polite. What about in a letter? If you have any questions, I can be reached at 555-1212. Call me. What about study results? We may want to talk about the survey. A survey was given. The results of the survey were recorded and posted online. The results are analyzed. More research is needed. What about giving advice? Advice is often good to give. The recommended guidelines should be followed. The company rules will be enforced. What about describing events at meetings? The participants were given important information. The delegates were greeted by the CEO. The audience was entertained by the speaker. What about company rules and guidelines? All companies have a rule book. Employees are not permitted to drink during business hours. Using company property for personal use is prohibited. No personal phone calls allowed. What about in lab reports and results? First, the DNA is sequenced. The mutations are recorded and studied. So, this was just a short video on using the passive voice in academic writing. You can and should watch this video as many times as you need. And remember to use your book if you need help.